I just want to share two stories with you that, we shouldn't judge another person too fast. Honestly, this is one of the problems that the Jewish nation has. That when somebody does something wrong, in a certain way, or not wrong, he does something, I have a choice to judge him favorably or not. So many times we judge this person unfavorably. Everybody knows the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. We all study it every summer coming up after Pesach. That it says, done it kol ha'adam lekaf zechut. That he should actually judge a person favorably, which means if he does an action, he talks, he says something, or he does something, and we could judge him two ways, judge him favorably. Even let's say if you can't judge him favorably, you could see that the guy did definitely something wrong with the wrong intention. Nevertheless, the Mishnah says, Al tadin et chavercha, don't judge your friend, at shetagia limkum, until you come to his place, until you put on his shoes, basically. It could be, what I'm saying, he's brought up in, I don't know, worse environment than me. If somebody in public school does something wrong, you can't really blame him, the way he's brought up. Somebody who's thank God, in a Jewish school, obviously has higher standards. Even if they're both in the same school, not everybody's Yetzer Hara is the same. God gives some people bigger Yetzer Hara, they have a bigger fight, bigger struggle. Some people have lesser struggle. So if I have a lesser struggle, no wonder that I actually succeed in my studies more than a person that has a struggle. So the two stories that I wanted to share with you, one of them happened with one of the Gedolei Israel, Rabbi Yamin Sofer. He was actually the son of the Chassam Sofer. Rabbi Moshe Sofer, you all have heard about him. So, in today's world, it's normal to be religious and have a secular study. Right? It's not a bad thing. Actually, many people like it. Especially if you're Persian. Your parents wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. There was a joke with a Jewish Persian lady that she was walking with a stroller, 2 kids in there. So they said, oh my gosh, your kids are so cute. How old are they? So it said the doctor is 3 years old and the lawyer is 2 years old. Right? So again, in the Persian community or the Jewish community, they wanted to be religious, but at the same time, they wanted to have a profession. But in Europe, I'm saying, in the old school, they didn't allow secular studies. They thought this is like too non-religious to bring something. But there were a lot of enlightened people. They went to the government. They tried to push secular studies into the Jewish schools. So many rabbis fought against it, and they won. Again, I'm not criticizing it. That's the way it was those days. Today, I guess, is different. Many times, if you guys become doctors or lawyers, you actually could be mekarev. You could bring close to Judaism people that rabbis never see. So you have a mission there too, to bring your brothers and sisters closer to Judaism. But anyways, so they fought, they won. They won the case. They didn't have to bring secular studies into Jewish schools. They made a big party. At that party, Rabbi Yamin Sofer brought a coin that was unique from the times of the second Beis Hamikdash. I said that once? Okay, so that was the second one, maybe you know too. So it's a reminder for you. Sorry, I hope I'm not wasting your time. Chazar is a mitzvah too. So anyways, what happens is he shows this coin and he says, this is from the second Beis Hamikdash. And I want everybody to look at it. Nobody has it. I've gotten it from my great-great-grandparents, but please return it back to me. So they pass the coin. All these rabbanim are watching it. These are big rabbis. And then suddenly, after a few minutes, somebody says, where's the coin? I want to see it. They can't find the coin. So Rabbi Yamin Sofer is very upset. So he says, you know what? I don't want to embarrass anybody. I'm going to ask everyone to check their own pockets. Maybe by mistake went into your pockets. So they wait a few minutes. Nobody comes up with the coin. Yamin Sofer is so upset. He says, you know what? I have no other choice. I will have to ask every Rav to check the person's pocket next to him. So everybody agreed. There was only one rabbi that his father was a big tzaddik, and he said, no, that's embarrassing. Give us another chance to check our own pockets. They agreed. After a few minutes, the coin doesn't come back. So Rabbi Yamin Sofer says, okay, now we don't have a choice. Everybody check your friend's pocket. Everybody agreed except this rabbi that his father was a big tzaddik. He says, no, give us another chance. So it's the third time. Now it's the fourth time. He says, I'm losing patience. You got to check your friend's pockets. This guy says, the guy that had the father was a big tzaddik. He says, just one more time. Let everybody check their own pockets. And if nobody comes up with it, then check your friend's pockets. And he goes next to the wall. He really starts banging, Ashamnu Bagadnu. Now, everybody thought that he's definitely the thief. Why is he refusing? Why is he saying Ashamnu? He's like, confessing his sins. So while everybody was suspicious of him, suddenly the waiter runs in And he says, I heard the commotion and you're saying the coin is lost. I thought maybe when we were cleaning up the table from course to course, maybe by mistake, I don't know, I took the tablecloth, I threw it into the garbage, and I checked into the garbage, I found the coin. So the coin was found. Right then, that rabbi, that was banging on his chest, he put his hands in his pockets, and he took another coin identical to this one. And he said, I also came to the party with a coin. I wanted to show to everybody. So Rabbi Binyamin Sofer is not the only one with that coin. I had it too. But once Rabbi Binyamin announced, I'm the only one with that coin, I didn't want to say something against these words. Say, oh, no, it's not true. I have another coin too. So I kept quiet. But then, when the coin was lost, if I would have let somebody check my pockets, right, they would say, oh, you're the thief. What would I say? No, I'm not the thief. I had a second coin. Well, if you had the second coin, why didn't you announce it at the beginning of the meal, the banquet? So it says the last time I went by the wall and I was banging on my chest, I was begging that the schus, the merit of my father should help, that the coin that's lost should be found. And that's exactly what happened. So Rabbi Binyamin Sofer, with all his humility, went up and he said, people, we learned a very great lesson, what the Mishnah says, that you should always judge your friend favorably, even if you have many, many circumstantial, forgive my English, by the way, if you have circumstantial proofs that he's a thief, but if you haven't seen with your own eyes, you can't condemn the person. That's one story that I wanted to share with you. There's a second one. I hope it was a good lesson for all of us. There's another one with the Baal Shem Tov, actually. This story happened with a guy, was a total Am Haaretz, a simple Jew, really believer, but no study, didn't have too much Torah. So what happens is one day was traveling home on a Friday afternoon. It was very close to Shabbos. He was traveling in the forest. He knew if he was going to go home, he's going to get there on Shabbos, Friday night. What is he supposed to do? Travel home with his wagon? It's Chilul Shabbos. Is he going to stay into the forest? What is he going to do? No challah, no wine, no food. He didn't know what to do. Then, whatever in his mind, as an Am Haaretz, he says, what, maybe it's better for me to go home. So he rushes home. By the time he gets to the village or to a city, people were walking back from the synagogue. He was so embarrassed. He went from the alleys, from the back roads, and he got into his house and he was crying. So he tells his wife, I'm a very bad Jew. I was Machadal Shabbos. Some people are not lucky. This is, by the way, a joke. Please don't take it to heart. Some wives, when they see the husbands are in trouble, they say that's the only wrong thing you did. They bring another 10 incidents that he made a mistake. But this wife happened to be a good one. And he said, actually, most Jewish wives are good. I promise you that. They're mostly good. There was actually, everyone knows of Rabbi Pan. You have heard of Rabbi Pan? He was the older Rosh Hashiva of Torah Vedas, a very big tzaddik. So one of his Talmidim one time came, he said, Rabbi, my wife is a witch. She used to be such a balas chesed. What happened to her? So you know what the rabbi told him? It says, what did you do to her to bring out her witch side? So many times it's our fault that we bring out the bad of other people. That's what Rabbi Pam told him. But I saw in one of the books about Rabbi Pam. So it was a very, very smart Rosh Hashiva. But anyways, going back, the wife says, you know what? You're worried that you're Mechalel Shabbos? Crying on Shabbos is not keeping Shabbos either. Why don't you go put on your Shabbos clothes, make Kiddush? Tomorrow night, Motzei Shabbos, go to the rabbi will give you a tikkun. So he goes to the rabbi tells him, I have a tikkun for you. Chilul Shabbos is very bad. We can't take it as a joke. But you know what? Next Friday, go buy 2 huge candles, no electricity those days. Put it in the shul, Friday afternoon. People will daven under the light of the candles. You help them do davening of Shabbos. So that's mesaken, makes a tikkun for your sin. He was so happy. He goes and buys the 2 candles. He's watching them Friday afternoon, close to Shabbos. So one of the Talmidim of Baal Shem Tov, his name was Rab Michal Zolochover. Rab Michal from city of Zolochov. He was there and he says, why is this guy looking at his candle? He asks him, what's going on? So he tells him the whole story. I was Machal Shabbos last week. The rabbi gave me this tikkun. So Rab Michal Zolochover says, do you really believe that is mesaken you? Come on. You just buy 2 candles, that Chilul Shabbos is gone. The rabbi told you something for you to feel good. It's not true. This doesn't bring you a tikkun. Right that moment, somebody walked into the shul and a big wind came and extinguished the candles. So the poor guy felt so bad. He took it as a sign that God is saying, I'm not interested in your candles. And this Shabbos was worse than the previous Shabbos. He again went home crying to his wife. So the wife says, listen, go to the rabbi and ask him. if he gave you the real tikkun or not. So he goes to the rabbi that Saturday night, Motzai Shabbos. The rabbi says, listen, I didn't want to make you feel good. I gave you the correct tikkun. You don't believe me. This student is a student of the Baal Shem Tov, no? So you go to the Baal Shem Tov, ask him if the tikkun that I gave you is good or not. So he goes to the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov tells him the tikkun that he gave you, the Rav gave you, is correct. I promise you, this week go by another 2 candles, we will not extinguish. Why don't you please give this letter of mine to Rab Michal Zulachover? So he comes back and he tells Rab Michal that Baal Shem Tov accepted this tikkun. Here's a letter that the Baal Shem Tov gave you. He opens it up and he says, Rab Michal, my dear student, you're invited to come to me for Shabbos. He was so happy. His Rav, his Rebbe invites him. He tries to go to the Baal Shem Tov, get there Friday morning, so he has time to go to the mikvah, learn chassidus, prepare himself to see, the holy face of his Rebbe. He travels Thursday morning, a big storm happens. He couldn't travel much. He had to sleep in a motel. Friday morning, the rain is even worse. Now he doesn't know what to do. He gets into his wagon and he's going 5 minutes before Shabbos. He gets to Baal Shem Tov city. He's so embarrassed. No chassidus, no mikvah, no learning, nothing. So actually he gets up 5 minutes before Shabbos. He goes and hides in the back of the shul, embarrassed to go with his, spiritual state. There were serious people in front of the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov doesn't even bother to call him. When Shabbos is over, Baal Shem Tov calls him and he says, Rab Michal, I wanted to tell you something. This all thing happened to you because of me. I made it happen. And I prayed for you that you shouldn't be Mechalel Shabbos. And I made this happen for you to feel how bad it is when a person almost comes to Chilul Shabbos. So before you judge another person and telling him, oh, you know what? Yeah, I think this makes a tikkun, you made him feel so bad. I wanted you to feel what Chilul Shabbos is, so you don't judge him or prejudge him, judge him on a negative side. That was a true story with the Baal Shem Tov. Thank you for listening, people. Please, guys, be in your seats. Please be in your seats. We bring you the pizza. Thanks for listening. There's